2010s was a wild time for music. From the birth of a new generation of greats to the birth of a new way of consuming music, it really was at the start of something new. Similar to my other video about how 2007 changed hip-hop music forever, we're going to step into the 2010s and discuss some things that happened that changed the landscape of the music scene.
Oh, say less!
The 2010s birthed a new generation of greats. With the 2010s came the birth of the blog era. This era brought some of the artists that would go on to lead us into the new generation, with some even being labeled the next GOATs. The blog era was the first era of artists that were able to take advantage of the internet and social media sites like MySpace, Facebook, or YouTube at the time to post their own music, cutting out the middleman, that is the record labels. This era brought us Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick, A$AP Rocky, Kid Cudi, Big Sean, Wale, Big Crit, and Mac Miller, just to name a few. One conversation that is going around right now about the blog era is that they're the last generation of artists that had a for sure pick as the leaders to push the needle forward for the next generation.
I mean, obviously, J. Cole,
Kendrick.
Drake, absolutely, Kendrick as well. I think just on he's talented, very talented, but just on sheer will and wanting it, Wale is gonna be here as well.
The 90s brought Pac, Biggie, Bad Boy, Outkast, Jay-Z, and Nas. The 2000s brought Wayne, Kanye, M, and 50. And the 2010s brought the big three in Drake, Cole, and Kendrick, as well as Travis Scott and Future. But as we enter the mid-2020s, I don't know if we can call anyone the unanimous leader of the new generation. Streaming is everything. The way music is consumed has always changed over the years, from only being able to listen through phonographs created in 1877, which were the first machines that could both record and play sounds, later evolving to the gramophone, and then the record player, or turntables that we know today.
Well, it's been 4 years since since we had the other YouTube with this phonograph, and now we have a little less surface noise and maybe a little, I don't know, maybe a little more volume. So here we go. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Well, let's see what happens. That's it.
From the phonograph, we moved on to airwaves. Now, although airwave radio has been around since the early 20th century, it wasn't until later that music started to be included, and being able to broadcast music to a much wider audience. By the 1960s, we were introduced to the compact cassette tapes, which allowed users to record and play music. This created a wave of portable music, being able to take your music with you and even share what you're listening to with your friends and family. It gave people the ability to personalize their collection. In the 1980s, compact discs, or CDs, came into play. The level up in CDs from cassettes were the improvement in sound quality and the durability.
But with compact discs, we're assured there will be a rolling river of material. 7 major record companies have already signed up to produce on the system.
Now, the late end of the CDs is where I personally remember starting my music journey. They were popular for a while, so I want to say I got my first CD when I was a kid around the mid-2000s. The first CDs that I remember getting from my little radio was a Choppa Style CD, a Little Romeo CD, and a Little Bow Wow CD. And I would play them all on repeat. Good times. Now, even though CDs were popular from the 80s into the 2000s, during the 90s is when digital downloads were introduced. That allowed consumers to start creating playlists for the first time. After digitally downloading your song, you were able to burn them onto a CD. So now, if you only had 2 or 3 favorite songs on an album, you were able to download each single from your favorites and then place them all on one CD. And although record labels didn't like it, it was a favorite for consumers and also brought a hustle of people selling personalized CDs. Now, by the late 2000s, up to the current era, is where we are today. As streaming has entered and taken over the primary way we consume music, from services like Spotify, Apple Music, and Tidal, you're charged a subscription price and have access to almost any kind of music you want, old or new. Speaking of Apple Music, an interesting fact about this is that Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine are actually responsible for its creation. Back when Dr. Dre and Jimmy were conquering the music industry, as things like LimeWire came and more albums were getting leaked online, Jimmy knew that the industry was in trouble. Making a small business move, they made a right into the headphone space, creating Beats by Dre and completely taking it over.
Find creatively fulfilling?
Well, it's very simple. Dre and I both felt that headphones sounded sterile. We wanted it to sound exciting. So we said, if we make a headphone where the design is beautiful and we make them cool enough and we market them like they're either Guns N' Roses or Snoop Dogg or Tupac, I said, I think that'll work.
Using numerous celebrities to market the headphones in music videos and athletes before games. Next came acquiring MOG Music Service for $14 million. With this came launching their own streaming service called Beats Music. It advertised that Beats Music would have better sound quality than Spotify and other services at that time, and offered music recommendations of what you would listen to, which wasn't a universal feature at the time. In 2014, Beats had a reported 57% of the premium headphone market, and this is when Apple started inquiring about purchasing Beats Electronics. This would include both the headphones and the Beats Music streaming service. And despite a very bad viral moment from Dr. Dre and Tyrese on Facebook.
Hold on, man, hold on. It's not often do you get to listen to Beats with Mr. Beats himself. Oh, shit, the Forbes list just changed. It came out like 2 weeks ago. They need to update the Forbes list. Shit just changed.
In a big way.
Oh, my.
Understand that. Oh, my. The first billionaire in hip-hop, right here from the motherfucking West Coast. Believe it.
On August 1st, 2014, Apple bought Beats Electronics and Beats Music for $3 billion. After the business deal, Beats Music was rebranded to Apple Music, and the rest is history. Today, rappers are more in touch with fans. Before social media was at the level it is today, being mysterious and out of the public eye was the blueprint to increase your level of celebrity. The less people saw you, the bigger deal it was when they did. But now with Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok, it's almost encouraged for celebrities to show their day-to-day lives in order for their fans to see them on a more personal level. Music is released more frequent. Here is a clip from Snoop Dogg while he was on 85 South about how much music is being made today versus back when he was starting out.
That's what that was. And at that time, it wasn't as clogged up as it is now. Right now, you got 30,000 records that come out every day.
Right.
Did you hear the number I just said?
Yes, I did.
30,000 records that come out every day. Back then, it was probably like, shit, nigga, 1,000 records come out a month.
Yeah, because you had to go get them bitches back then.
Quality shit, nigga. It's like, nigga, you can't be bullshitting. And guess what? Two niggas can't sound alike.
And he's definitely not wrong. I remember when he was coming up, Uzi was well known for dropping a lot of music very frequently. It got to the point where I remember waiting 8 months to a year for a song or project from Uzi was unheard of and very rare. And you can look back to a time like when Ye announced Good Music was going to drop an album every week. I don't think he'd be able to pull something like that off in the 2000s. Technology has definitely made it easier to create and drop music, but that also means it's more difficult to stand out in a now bigger pool of artists. And just as celebrities are more accessible, that also means they are held accountable a lot more than in the past years. An example I'd say is Eminem. There was a video going around of people reacting to Kill You by Eminem for the first time.
They said I can't rap about being broke no more. They say I can't rap about coke no more. Slut, you think I won't soak no whore till the vocal cords don't work in his throat no more? Slut, you're causing too much chaos. Just bend over and take it like a slut, okay, ma? Oh, now he's raping his own mother, abusing a horse, going
And even me listening now, you don't really realize how vulgar he really was. At the time, people were allowed to be outraged, but they had no way of contacting M, his manager Paul Rosenberg, or the label Interscope. I mean, you can try and give him a call, but the odds of somebody answering was pretty slim.
I am the way your son don't need a gun to get respect.
And you can write a letter, but who knows if or when you'd get a response from that. Today, if the outrage is big enough, and with enough retweets, you can blow anything up and make it viral to where the artist or the individual has to respond. This has happened to companies too, so it almost keeps everybody on their toes, which you could say is a good thing. Now, although some artists still find reasons to sign to a record label, there are enough artists that have done it without to show that it's possible, especially with social media. It's given artists the chance to grow their own fan base, and the evolution of technology has made the creation of music move from expensive studios to your own bedroom. Building your own career makes meeting with these labels more beneficial for the artists because they walk into the room with leverage and don't need to bend to the will of those in suits and ties. And also with the increase of information and references from history, artists are given the chance to do the research to put them in the best position to succeed. So even though the pool is much bigger, the ones who work smarter should always find a way. And just how they talk about the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s in high regard, the 2010s carved their own name in history with their own new waves, advancements, and projects that will be around for a long time. It's looking like this decade will be the same. Do you think a new artist will emerge soon? And if so, who do you think it's going to be to take the crown? And like always, thanks for watching, liking, commenting, or subscribing. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon.